This is the Lowco Hoops Report, covering basketball in the South Carolina Lowcountry. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, Lowco sports fans, welcome to another edition of the Lowco Hoops Report. I'm Wes Kerr, joined by Rob Benson and Will White. And fellows, we are now into region play. Just a handful of games take place over the week and starting to learn a little bit more about the picture of several of these boys and girls teams here in the Lowcountry. Rob and Will, thanks for coming on here. And I want to start with you, Rob. I was able to run into you at the Hilton Head game, Hilton Head Bluffton, and what a fantastic girls game that was. The Seahawks nearly stunning the Bobcats. Linda Young, just a tremendous game, hits a three at the buzzer at the end of the first half to give the Seahawks a lead, but Bobcats able to fight back thanks to another excellent game from 8th grader Myra Brown, who has just been a sensation coming in there for the Bobcats, and of course Takoya Hayward doing all that she does in the elite floor general. But Rob, let's start off. I just want to hear your thoughts on that game and kind of the scope of where that fits some of these teams here in that region.
Yeah, Wes, it was good seeing you the other night. And actually, I feel like I've seen you a couple of times this year already, whereas we kind of were at different gyms a little bit last year. But that game, I'll tell you what, that's why you have region matchups, and that's why you have crosstown rivals, and that's why, Now, check it out. Bluffton, as you well know, a bunch of the kids on that team are between Amira and Takoya and Maddie and all them. They're related in some sort of way. This whole rivalry felt related this weekend with Linda Young and all them. These kids grew up together. They've been playing together forever. They were heated on opposite sides, talking their talk, hitting big shots, and it was really fun. And I thought Linda was, like you said, man, outstanding, right? She is taking on, there's a WNBA kid who plays for the Washington Mystics, I think named Maisha Hines Allen. And she's sort of that tweener three, like a power three, like a throwback Barkley kind of three, or a Clarence Witherspoon kind of three, like physical, right? And so that's what Linda does. She's got shake, she's got bake, she's banging some threes, she's getting all of her own rebounds, and she's putting up huge numbers for a Hilton Head High School right now, which is really the only thing keeping them in games. I thought Janiyah played very well the other night, but there's not a lot of places to look for offense. I really thought Bluffton should have asserted dominance earlier on. They had some opportunities. They were up 5, 7, 8, whatever. And then they sort of let Linda just sort of by herself creep back in the game. So to Linda's credit, she, like I said, she was outstanding. I thought Takoya was good. I think, Amira is just, if she's going to shoot like that, for real, the ceiling is, undetermined. She is a very lengthy.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Here's the other. Yeah, that's right. The Michael Jordan. And I try. It's so funny. But like, at the end of the day, Amira's buying in on D, and she's loading up on defenders out high towards the half court line, and that's just a real problem. If she's going to care like that on defense, good luck. She's going to be that kid. So this is the funny thing is she's also a really good soccer player, and I think for a couple of years I've had to try to convince her family that her ceiling is actually higher in basketball. And I feel like if she's hitting jump shots like this spring summer, when you start to put her in the backcourt with the kids we have, Gabby up at First Baptist and PJ at Christian and Amira and Lyric Jones, who I think is averaging like, gosh knows what over the last 4 games at Estill. So, it's a really dynamic backcourt, but Amira, wow. So, man, you saw it. I think it went the way it was supposed to go and probably should have gone that way by a couple more points. But, Linda's dynamic right now, and she's really keeping them in the ballgame.
Yeah, credit to Hilton Head for battling that game. It ended up being a 50-45 Bluffton win. And Amira Brown, as I mentioned, with 16 points. Linda Young led scores with 22 points and 12 rebounds, so a double-double for Young, who continues to put up some strong numbers this year. And she has really been the catalyst for Hilton Head's offense. We've seen some stronger play from Janiyah Farabee, but in terms of depth, it hasn't really seen it that much in terms of some of those secondary scores. They definitely missed Gianna Timko from last year, who could bang it from the outside, and they really don't have not many complementary pieces, but they play hard on defense. Russell Nazuski is doing a good job instilling that kind of effort. So that's definitely going to be a team that's going to be a tough out going forward in this region. And you got to think they're on the right track after nearly upsetting Bluffton. So excited to see how the rematch will go. If you have Linda Young, I mean, talk about all the clutch shots that she's made in her career. A couple buzzer beaters, I think last year or the year before, where she hit one to win a game on the road. I mean, just put the ball in her hands if you're Hilton Head and see what she can do, because she is an absolute playmaker with her shot and with her ability to rebound the ball and get those putbacks. So one of the best players right now in any team here in the girls area here in the Lowco. But yeah, great game over there. Will, what games were you able to get out to this week?
I was able to, Saturday I checked out the Wade Hampton Well Branch game, and that was a good one. It was live, it was action packed, and they had a really good game. The girls kind of just ran away with it for Wade Hampton, so they were just they were on fire. They shut down anything that Well Branch was trying to do. And the boys' game was real interesting, but every time that Well Branch tried to make a comeback or had a run in them, Wade Hampton just had an answer for them. And then Monday, I was able to check out HHCA against a really good Calvary team, and they got the win. And HHCA got the win there as well. And they played a really, really good game there. It was balanced scoring. Dirty Harry his team still haven't been able to figure him out at all yet. Eli and Isaiah both had really, really good games. So they're starting to get balanced scoring there, and I think they're starting to come together. I don't think they're 100% gelled. They're starting to come together, like me and Rob were talking about earlier in the pregame, and they're going to be exciting to watch. So I want to see what the next couple weeks go, because they're not into region play yet. I don't think they start their region until next Friday.
It's kind of a weird region because you only got 3 teams in 3A. You get Hilton Head Christian Academy. Hilton Head Preps, of course, will be might be the most anticipated game of the season right now between those two rivals. And then you got JP2, but those are the only 3 teams in that region. So
right.
Interesting how they developed the realignment for these next 2 years in Skiza. But already looking forward to that. What was normally a cross island clash, now Hilton Head Christian Academy over Bluffton, but still. Those 2 teams going to be bitter rivals. We talked a couple weeks ago to Eli White and about his, what he was looking forward to about that rivalry game, and I think it's going to be 2 fantastic ball games coming up. And I believe next Friday we'll get the first one. So already excited for that. But Hilton Head Christian Academy, that's a strong win, 52-48 over Calvary Day. 4 players in double figures. Isaiah Anderson, 12 points, 11 rebounds. Wells Sharp with 12. Eli White and Harry Skinner, as you mentioned. So, a lot of balanced scoring, which is great to see from this group. What more has impressed you about this Jason Grunkemeyer coach squad early on here in 2023?
I mean, he preaches defense. He said, he's like, we man up and we play. We have a couple of different zone sets that we run, but for the most part, he expects you to guard your man and get after the ball and stop shots. And I mean, if you're a stat junkie or whatever, they really don't allow a lot of points, and if they're having an off quarter, maybe shooting the ball, so is the other team, because they're getting after it after defense. And I think that's why they've been able to win so many games. Like Calvary's a really good team. They got really good depth, size, and everything. And they got a 6'9" player, but they were able to withstand everything that Calvary Day threw at them because of defense.
Yeah, I think defense is a huge factor in these games, especially when you talk about limiting the amount of points they get for each possession. And I mean, they did a good job just hanging in there and playing strong, that on-ball defense, and forcing some turnovers. So like what I'm seeing so many areas, and they rebound well. Just a great overall start for Hilton Head Christian Academy team. And then the girls once again continue to roll 56-40 over Calvary Day, and a big game from Morgan Scott, the newcomer here, who is absolutely taking it by storm over there. 19 points and 15 rebounds, and she continues to be this team one of the best in the entire state, regardless of public and private schools. So Hilton Head Christian Academy looking like the clear favorites there in Class 3A, and then they absolutely believe they will roll through the competition. But what are the other takeaways that you've seen throughout this past week early on in region play?
I mean, I think Wade Hampton's really good. I watched them play. Like, they're really good offensively, and you look up, they're gonna put 10 to 15 on the board. Hilton Head is actually surprising me. Hilton Head High School is actually surprising me in their region on the boys' side, for sure. They're undefeated right now. I believe in region play,
Yep.
and I think it's going to come down between probably them, May River, and James Island for that region title. Right now, it's anybody's ball game. I mean, May River played James Island really, really tight. As Justin pointed out, I'm an advocate for the shot clock, and I think had the shot clock been on, May River might have been able to ink that game out. But because there's no shot clock in South Carolina, James Island was able to bleed the clock out and get the victory.
Yeah, Sharks lost 55-33 to Lucy Beckham. So tough one there for the Sharks, but you never can count out that team with, Blocker has been a standout for the years. Gavin Blocker, great shooter over there for May River. But, yeah, I think this Hilton Head team can do some damage. They're already 2-0 in region play, and we know how great of a coach that Shane Brown is and that defensive intensity we've always seen from their teams. But they're starting to find some key playmakers in offense, like Reese Stewart, who's not only a strong outside shooter, but he can slice to the rim and get to the hole.
He got to the rim a couple times last week, didn't he? I saw he was, and I was shocked, but he's not afraid to go in there and mix it up with them.
So, guys, let me ask you this real quickly. How do we feel about Beaufort starting out in the way they have so far this year? Now, I know the late state, the football state title run, and that was a glorious thing, and that's going to cost them a few on the front end. But, they just played Battery Creek a night or two ago and ended up, that was a scrappy game, a lot of talking and a lot of, crosstown, this and that. Ended up, winning the game handily-ish, not a blowout or anything like that. But I think that brings them to 4-11 overall, right? And given the fact that Sully moved over from BA, and, they've got one of the Dennison brothers back on the front line, I would have thought that they would start it a little stronger. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this Beaufort team, there's always a high when you come off a state championship like that in football. And I think that was the focus for a lot of these young men was they're going all in November, early December about winning that football state championship. And then after you have all that, the emotion of finally climbing to the top of that mountain and winning that football championship. Now it's about, resetting, getting ready to go into basketball shape. And I think transition is coming, and I think it's coming along well as we go into the heart of region play for this Beaufort basketball team. And you look at some of those athletes that we mentioned many times if you're listening to all of our football shows this past fall. But, they're 4-11 when you look at the record right now. And, it's hard to really say much about that since you had to go over that transition with a lot of those guys transitioning from football shape to basketball shape. But you look at what they've done recently, and you're starting to see that, this team can be competitive in this region and can take that with them into the postseason. And so some great signs for this Beaufort team, especially from what we saw against Battery Creek. And Kanye Freeman, a terrific game for the Dolphins, has scored 22. But you look
Fantastic.
But you look at some of the balanced scoring that we saw from the Eagles. Sully Gay with 15, Michael Dennison, big man with 12 points and 15 boards. You remember what he did last year with James Dennison and Jaron Odom. So two of those three are no longer there, but Michael Dennison continues to be that factor who can scoop up rebounds, can score on putbacks, and will play tough defense, and an absolute monster pulling down those boards. And then you get the speed and the hustle of guys like McLeod Rochelle or Samari Bonds, who two names that sound familiar if you followed our football shows this year, because Rochelle, always a reliable wide receiver, playmaker over there for the Eagle football team. And then Samari Bonds, who just had an excellent year at quarterback. And I think that championship mentality transfers between sports, and we kind of see that now, finding ways to pick up W's even when they face some adversity. Look how many times that Beaufort football had to come back from behind. But even when Kanye Freeman had a great game with Battery Creek, just love to see the response and the resiliency of that Beaufort group under Jeremy Huff. So I think there's a lot to like in the direction that they're going, and the fact that they're competitive in this region. I think that bodes well for them moving forward into these next few weeks. But, you have Sully Gay, who's consistently been one of the best players here in the Low Country and rebounding and scoring alongside Michael Dennison, who I think is still one of the best players in the state with his work on the glass and in the paint, and just a variety of skill sets that have been once again reliable. And it hurts to not have a guy like Anderson Jones who we just had a great story out of him at the college football national championship game. He had to over there and watch Georgia win the Natty, and just a really great overall story there. But he still wishes he's still playing basketball for Buford.
sure.
And
but you love to see that. You love to see that he went to the Georgia game. Yeah.
I mean, anytime you hold a team under 30 points in basketball, high school basketball, varsity basketball, you're doing something right. And I think that they're probably starting to find their groove, and they're probably a team that you probably don't want to play in the playoffs, because if they get hot, your season might come to a short end, even if you had a good season. But Battery Creek's going to have to find some help for Freeman, for the Freeman kid. I mean, he scored 22, and what else can you do?
You saw Whale Branch, right, out there versus Wade Hampton. Quick question on that. A couple days later, a kid for Whale Branch, Kevin Jenkins, who I've met and trained, been around, and he's just a fantastic kid, man. He put up 34 or upstate in a region game for Whale Branch, who's obviously 1A. What'd you see out of Whale? Antoine Wade got that program. It's brand new. It's young.
Man, he's got them rocking, man. And what I've seen, is that
has pride.
I'm sorry.
I said Seabrook has a lot of pride. That's all I'm saying.
What I've seen, like Kevin Jenkins dropped 34, and he might not even be the best player on that team, and he's only a sophomore. I mean, you still got LaRon Wright, who in the Wade Hampton game I saw put up like 18 points, and like they couldn't stop him. And then there's KJ Chisholm still. Whale Branch is good, man. They're not any slouch because they lost to Wade Hampton. Wade Hampton is a really good team. They've been to state a couple times, so Whale Branch they're rocking. He's got that program figured out. He's got players buying in. I think everybody's starting to step up, and then he's got talent. Like you said. I mean, anytime you get a kid that can drop 34, and then another night you got a kid who can drop 20. I mean, that's just really hard to coach against and hard to defend and guard. And he's figured it out over there. And I think in a couple years, Whale Branch is going to be super scary to play against if he stays there. He could be going somewhere else. I don't know, and I don't know him that well, and I haven't heard any rumors. But he's that kind of coach where I could see him, coaching at the next level.
Oh, Coach Wade. Yeah, I think he's been on D2 sort of staffs, that sort of thing in the past. He's a young up and comer. Everyone's got to like his style at this point. Like, he comes at it pretty hard. He's active on social media, and he wants his kids to get looks. And I think that's for a guy like me, that's a wonderful thing. So, like, kudos to him. Like I was yelling over you earlier, like they play pridefully out in Seabrook and Dale, right? Like, a lot of the ex, and Wes can comment on this, a lot of the ex greats sort of come home and rally around the program and train them up. They have the best trainer in the area in Casser Middleton on the football side. So like they just have a lot of people contributing, and it's family. So like it's not, if they have the right kind of person in place, I think it's easy to generate support and energy around the program. And it seems like, even in some tight losses, that's what's going on. Like, the program's up and coming for sure again. I mean, it's never really dipped, right? It's never really dipped. I didn't mean it even that way. It's just that for being young and having a transition period, it's, business as usual, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, every time, like, you thought Wade Hampton was going to run, Coach Antoine would get his players going, and they'd rally and they'd cut it to within 4-2, and it's just like they won't go away. They're gonna be pests all year, all game, 32 minutes. You're gonna get 100% from Whale Branch. I know that from watching that game.
They're a team that just has been, so pesky, and they find a way to stay in ball games and pull out close wins. We saw that a lot over the last 2 years, of course, when Jim Raymond was there, and now with Antoine Wade, and all that he's done in such a short time to propel Whale Branch to once again a contender in not just this region, but who knows, of a team that can get hot like this in the Class 1A postseason with all the potent weapons that they've shown. And it's not just been one guy; it can be different guys on any given night. It's just dangerous and scary for any opposition going forward. For for Whale Branch, and I'm just really excited to see things move in the right direction again. And you talked about the support. I mean, Nick Pringle, who's now balling over at Alabama for one of the best teams in the country right now, the Crimson Tide, and he's going to have the support all the way through. He's going to give the support to this Whale Branch team, and it's just great to see those alumni always reaching out. Of course, you got Dee Delaney playing in the NFL over there from Whale Branch, and just that entire culture of just finding a way to get there from here, and you just have that blue collar, that hard working mentality that we've seen so many alumni, so many of these current students at Whale Branch continuing to have, and we see it with everybody and Coach Antoine Wade on this basketball program. And I think the sky's the limit for what this team can do as we get into these next few weeks. And I'm excited for this game against Estill on Friday. So 2 Lowco squads going at Estill. Estill's at 6-5 on the season. Whale Branch at 7-3. So, and Estill's 3-0 in that region. So that should be a great battle between 2 unbeaten teams over there in 7-1A. So, and Estill's had a nice start as well. I'm excited to see that game. Jeremiah Taylor's having a nice start for Estill, Kevon Chisholm. So that's going to be a battle on Friday. Cannot wait for that one between Estill and Whale Branch. But yeah, great things once again going on there with Seabrook. We saw with Nick Pringle. We saw, with a guy like Joan Reeves when he was there, and what he did even on a down year was ability to hit clutch shots and make those impactful plays. And then even last year, with some of those guys that Whale Branch had, and just that mentality has continued and tradition has continued. And, just a few years removed from that run to the state championship game, who knows? They could definitely be back there in a few years. So, they could make a big playoff run this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. So,
they have some size. They have some size.
Yeah, some size. Absolutely.
Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to another team on the other side of the Broad right now, which is Bridges Boys, I believe. And if I heard correctly, they put up the first 100-point game of the year, right? Last night? Yeah, 108. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but I just thought I'd mention it nonetheless. And I only thought of it because Wes had just talked about the Estill Whale Branch game coming up, but Estill Bridges was quite a game this week on the boys' side.
Yeah, 79-78. That was an absolute shootout over there between two strong offenses, and that must have been a fun game to watch. Kevon Chisholm over Estill, 23 points, 19 rebounds. Jamaris Miller, 18. I mean, those are some numbers that
what about Zaire?
Zaire Nelson goes 21 points with 6 deals, so getting it on the defensive side, and then a triple double for QJ Young, 24 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. So, and then Amarian Wilson, who of course used FBA, also had a big game with 12 points and 18 rebounds and 6 blocks. So that was a heck of a ball game. And you guys have been able to follow any of that one, or what else do you know? Because that one must have been an amazing one to watch.
Definitely tight. And that's what you get in 1A around here, right? Like, you get a lot of, you just get those kind of ball games where people go at each other, and the rivalries are fierce, and the crowds are passionate, and that's some of the best ball to go watch. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, no two ways.
Yeah. It is what it is. Someone got an award this week or was nominated for something. Who's got that?
That's right. A big award coming out from Hilton Head Christian Academy. Jada Grayson on the girls' side, named as a McDonald's All-American nominee. That's an incredible honor. Only, I believe, around 700 kids nationally get an opportunity to earn the nomination for that. And, of course, they'll announce the winners later on in a couple weeks or so. But that's an incredible accomplishment for that young lady. And Grayson, we've talked a lot about Tamaya Hutchinson and Abby Peduzzi, and rightfully so. Devin Yard, they have been standouts. But Jada Grayson has done a lot of fantastic work, behind the scenes of that team, and her ability to, be that supporting player who can get boards, who can score in the paint, and has become a big-time impactful player. And we saw a little bit of it last year, and now it's really continued, and she's worked hard to improve her game, and what a great honor for her. And it just goes to show the depth of high-end talent on the Hilton Head Christian team who have just been rolling this year, and just an outstanding honor for this young woman. So congratulations to Jada, and Rob, I'm sure you were thrilled about this big accomplishment for her.
Oh yeah, like anytime a kid, works hard over the course of her career and has dedicated herself to a craft, you want to see them have success. She's been a good teammate. My daughter's on the team. Actually, is officially, like, I think on the rotation is the official substitution for Jada. Right? She comes in. That's the first substitution every game. PJ for Jada. And so she's been a great teammate for my kid, getting acclimated to this level of play at this age. She's hit big shots for him this year. She's a saucy kid, which I love. She's not afraid to mix it up. And when Christian, who at times, right, is athletic enough to not be physical. I don't get me wrong, Morgan's kind of changed that, right? But at the end of the day, they're athletic enough to not be physical over the course of the last bunch of years. And Jada's not afraid to step up when it gets hard and get physical with it. And I appreciate that about her. This is one of those things, the McDonald's All-American nominee sort of deal is really interesting, going back over a long period of time. I actually played for Morgan Wooten for a couple of years in high school, who does the Morgan Wooten All-American camp. He's deceased for a while now, but his family, who is, used to be Carroll's coach and O'Connell's coach and that sort of thing, up in the best conference in America, the WCAC, Catholic League in DC. But long story short, that whole committee has a lot of different people, moving parts on it. And, last year in Georgia, like Savannah down to Jacksonville, a Florida/Atlanta program called Essence sort of moved in and acquired a bunch of the programs that were currently there. And they are one of the best programs that's ever existed on the girls' side, like Essence is. So a lot of, what you're seeing right here is the fact of, sway. There's a lot of Essence voters that are on the board. Jada played for Essence, and that's an awesome thing. And you know what? Like, kudos to her, to her mom, to all the folks that were involved in making that happen. She's a great player. Hopefully she caps it off with a state championship. And I'm not sure how far she is from 1,000 points right now, but I'd love to see that happen as well if it hasn't already. And then cap it off with a college career, right? Like, that's the ultimate goal, and I think that's what she wants for herself. So, like, if all of that can come to fruition, then this has been a magical run, and bless them. And I think, at the end of the day, this is a great honor for a kid. I think Dior was the last one from Christian to have that happen, so that's a super cool thing. And, that's sort of what it is moving forward. I guess they get back at it tomorrow, so I guess we got a day to sort of, like, soak it all in, right?
Well, I think Jada's just that type of player where she's like, okay, it's time to ball up. Let's roll it out and play again. I think she's just that type of person. Knowing her a little bit, I don't know her really well. I know her a little bit, but like since Eli goes there, but she's a really, really good player. And the thing I like about her is that she's very unselfish. She could probably score 20, 25 a game if she wanted to, but she'll make the right pass, right read. And she always seems to take like the toughest assignment on defense. Like when they played Bullock, the first game without her, they struggled a little bit because Bullock has a player there that's outstanding. But then the next game, like Jada was Gardner, and it was a totally different story, totally different ball game. So she gets after it on both sides of the ball. So I think it's well deserved. And I think she's a really unselfish player that could be selfish and could score. She's a good athlete. She plays volleyball too. So all kudos to her. She earned it. And that's difficult to do.
And I'd love to see the appreciation for a player like her who is kind of has that unselfish mold, who will give it up to her teammates, give up a good shot for a better shot, and just play that high intensity defense and showing that hustle on both ends of the floor. And that's what coaches love to see, and just love to see her get appreciation and accolades for what she does and all the hard work that she puts in this program and to her games. Congratulations to Jada Grayson. Just a fantastic honor, and can't wait to watch her continue to play and chase that state title this year. And even some more things could be in store for her beyond that. So big future ahead over there for Jada Grayson and this Hilton Head Christian Academy girls squad. So we're going to take a quick break and be right back with more with our players of the week and look ahead to next week on Lowco Hoops Scene on the Lowco Hoops Report.
Hey Lowco sports fans, this podcast and all of our grassroots local sports content are made possible by support from community sponsors, including Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate attorneys of Lowco Sports, and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. Our original sponsors are still among our greatest supporters. Ryan and Tiffany Mickelson are community pillars who will be in your corner no matter your legal needs. When you need legal representation, call on the attorneys who support Team Lowco. Call Mickelson Law Firm. Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, the official hospice provider of Lowco Sports, and the only not-for-profit hospice in southern Beaufort County. For more than 30 years, the committed, compassionate staff at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry have been there to ensure your loved ones find comfort, honor, and dignity at the end of life. Because at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, it's not about dying, it's about living. Homegrown Home Inspections, the official home inspectors of Lowco Sports. Jan Lucas and his team provide thorough, detailed home inspections aimed to ensure everyone goes into the transaction with open eyes and confidence. Jan would rather reveal an inconvenient truth than look the other way and provide reassurances that could come back to burn the buyer in the long run. If you're looking to buy or sell a home and need an honest, reliable inspector, call on Homegrown Home Inspections, official sponsors of Lowco Sports. Star Home Services, official residential cleaning service of Lowco Sports. When you just don't want to clean the house, call on Carla and her amazing team to do the dirty work. They'll get in and out in a flash and leave your house looking spotless, all at a price that fits your budget. The next time your space is a mess, call on Star Home Services, official residential cleaning service of Lowco Sports. DDS Web Design, official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. If your business or organization has a website and you're trying to figure out what SEO is, you need to call on Denise and Dave Sinkovich at DDS Web Design. They'll provide a free consultation and do all the behind-the-scenes work to boost your search engine optimization and get your website found online so you can take your business to the next level. DDS Web Design, official SEO experts of Lowco Sports. American Wood Reface, sustaining sponsors of Lowco Sports. Does your kitchen need a facelift? Before you start picking out new cabinets, give Ben and the team at American Wood Reface a shot. They can reface your existing cabinets to overhaul your aesthetic without the hefty price tag and reimagine your kitchen at a price point you can manage. Be sure to tell them Lowco sent you because every referral helps support Lowco Sports. 4M Metals, sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports. Got metal? Your roof might need it. Metal roofing advantages include better energy efficiency, weather protection, longevity, a more aesthetically pleasing design, and the product is all green. So if you've been thinking about a new roof, go metal. Let 4M Metals be the difference in your roof. Jay's Barbershop. It's the talk of the town and the place to be in Ridgeland. If you need your ears lowered, head over to Jay's for a fresh cut and great conversation with good folks. And tell them Lowco sent you. Local Pie, official pizza sponsor of Lowco Sports. They sling some of the best pies in the Lowco, and my kids say the mac and cheese is the best around. Hungry? Hit up Local Pie, longtime supporter of Lowco Sports. Hilton Head Prep is a sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports, and we tell you all about the Dolphins' athletic exploits. But did you know it's also the #1 ranked private K-12 school in Beaufort County and ranks in the top 2.5% of schools nationwide? Visit hhprep.org to see what Hilton Head Prep has to offer. Beaufort Academy is a sustaining sponsor of Lowco Sports, and we love covering the Eagles. With a student-to-faculty ratio of 7-1 and an average class size of 14 students, Beaufort Academy could be just the educational solution you're looking for, with more one-on-one attention. BA has a strong history of working with the whole child to prepare each student for college and life. Check them out at BeaufortAcademy.org. Thank you to all of our sustaining and supporting sponsors for their support of LowcoSports.com. Go Lowco.
All right, thank you so much to our sponsors for all your support and helping out our grassroots local sports coverage. We appreciate all that you do for us. Well, let's get back into the Lowco Hoops Report, and now we will go through and name our boys and girls players of the week, one boy and one girl piece. And Rob, we will start with you. We'll give you the first pick today. And who are your selections for our girls and boys player of the week?
Man, that's interesting because I think I want to take the same boy I've been taking right now. I've been a fan of his for a long time. And, you know, everyone talks Jalen over at Bluffton. And I know they lost to Hilton Head the other night, and Hilton Head's coming along, but I think that they're trying to reinvigorate a culture there over at Bluffton High School. Coach Rodney left, went to Christian, and you can see sort of like the influence over there. But Brandon Bryant, man, he's like putting up points every game right now, and he's got flair, and he's got some style, and he's fun to watch, and he's their primary ball handler, so he's got the ball in his hands a good majority of the time. He's just been good. I mean, Kevin Jenkins with the 34, right? So, like, you can give me either one of those. On the girls' side, there's certain kids are putting up massive numbers in sort of losing situations, and I don't know how to gauge that versus, say, a Hilton Head Christian, right? But I think it's tough to deny Linda Young right now, because from a volume standpoint, her team regards her so highly. Her usage rate has to be at levels that make Luka Doncic blush. Like she is getting the ball on every possession, and they're letting her make a play on every possession, whether it's for her or for someone else. So when you have that kind of respect from your staff, and they're putting it on your shoulders, and essentially you're putting up like 28 or 22 and 18, kudos to you, kid. Like that's good playing.
Yeah, she has been the primary ball handler and the primary shot taker for this Hilton Head team, and rightfully so, because she has been elite in every facet with her rebounding and just her shooting mechanics, and really a 3-level scorer now. I mean, she can obviously her putbacks up close to the rim, but I mean the strength and finesse to finish up close to the basket, but then her ability to hit the 3 ball outside. We saw Hilton Head prep, and we saw it again with that buzzer beater against Hilton or against Bluffton. And man, she has really shown so much versatility in her game. An elite playmaker, an excellent shooter, and a strong defender and rebounder. So she's really shown it all. So I love that pick for Linda Young for your girls player of the week. Who's officially your? I think you named 2 boys. Who's your one pick officially for boys?
Okay, yeah, okay. You know what? I'm going to go with Kevin. Kevin's a great kid. I know Antoine was raving about it before the season. He's actually Kamani Jenkins's nephew, and she's their all-time leading scorer at Whale Branch and an ex-Lowco coach. And it's a cool family. They've been out on the road with us. Kevin played for us 1 year. I'm not sure I would have seen him a year and a half ago punching 34 in a game, but like he's a humble kid, right? Like he'll train with anyone, and he is appreciative of the opportunity. And I think that at the end of the day, if they can kind of build on that sort of level of commitment and being humble and athleticism, and Antoine can kind of feed the program, you're going to get more of that out of Kevin. So I'm taking Kevin this week.
Yeah, when you can score 34 a night and you got other guys who can pick up load in different games as well, that's a scary proposition going forward. So a big game for Kevin Jenkins, and should be some big things ahead in the next few weeks for him as well. So, Will, let's get to you. Who are your 2 selections for player of the week?
This was actually a difficult week, and I'm not going to be a homer, so I'm not going to pick either HHCA teams. Even though I could, you can always pick any girl on the HHCA team, and everybody be like, yeah, that's a great pick. So don't at me, don't fight me, girls. But I was gonna go with Amira Brown, but I think I'm gonna lean over to Buford Academy and go Talia Hayward. 27 points against Prep. I mean, like you're scoring, man. You're scoring. You're a bucket. You're a walking bucket, and that's what she was Wednesday. So I think I'm going to pick her on the girls' side. And then on my boys' side, there are a lot of great picks, but I'm going to go with Joshua Goodman from Wade Hampton. He had 22 against Well Branch. They had no answer anytime they needed a bucket. It's like he's probably the best player on that team to me, in my opinion. And he's probably the second best shooting guard in the Low Country, in my opinion. And I mean, he can play defense, he can get after it, and I think he deserved it this week.
Yeah, some great picks there. I mean, especially Talia Hayward, who has become that number 1 focal point for Buford Academy. Michaela Washington's still a terrific scorer, but Hayward, I think, is certainly taken her game to another level this year. And that's a Hilton Head prep team in the past has always played tough defense, and they're still a difficult team to go up against. But 27 in always a fierce rivalry game like that. I mean, that's some impressive stuff from her, and she's really been a consistent scorer, getting it done at multiple levels, and has been a force this year. Like you said, a walking bucket, just has been draining shots, finding ways to get high percentage looks and knock him down. So just great athleticism and great ability to knock down big shots and make plays for teammates as well. So good choice there for Talia Hayward. For my two picks, very tough choice for both boys and girls. For my girls player of the week, I'm actually going to go a little bit off the board here and pick Kiara Wilson for Battery Creek because, I think she deserves some love as well, and this Battery Creek team does for what she did against Buford. 17 points, 11 boards, 5 steals, propelling the Dolphins to a 10-point win over Buford. And I think this Eagle team is really starting to find a groove as well. Quinn Wilson has been a nice veteran player. And Households had some nice impact plays as well for the Eagles. But Kiara Wilson, a girl we've talked about for a while, that she continues to up her game and produce, corral rebounds, make good plays, and then just play tough defense as noted by her numbers in the steals department. And just that hustle to stay close to her defender with those quick hands. And, that transition game is always so important in girls basketball. If you can force some live ball turnovers and get to the hoop quickly, you're gonna feast in transition, and you're gonna find a way to change the momentum of the game and put up some points. So couldn't go with Kiara Wilson, although I will say Morgan Scott certainly deserving as well. 19 points, 15 rebounds for Hilton Christian Academy against Calvary as Eagles just continue to roll over there. So a big week for both of those two. And got to give some love to Kiara Wilson, who's been there for a while now and continues to put up some great numbers. So
Kiara's awesome, man. So Kiara played for us, and she is undersized at 5'3", 5'4", but she's faster than a water bug, and she is tenacious, and she is a slippery ball handler, and she can make some passes that people don't necessarily make in this area. She's been but most important, I've seen her lock down national kids. I saw her last year lock down the kid who's at USC right now, the point guard for East Clarendon. Jeez, name's escaping me. But Kiara's a dog. She really goes incredibly hard, and that's just an incredible pick, Wes, because she doesn't nearly get the love. And right now, they're the best team on that side of the broad, right?
Is it okay?
Yeah, true. It's facts.
Yeah. Is it okay if I feel like I'm going to get called out for this, but I feel like making a homerish pick for my boys player of the week. And there's also something about the eye test and watch it in person. But Reese Stewart played out of his mind on this game on Tuesday night. Absolute strength on both ends of the floor, being able to play high intensity defense, and then not just hit the outside shot, but the ability to weave past the defense, score in transition, score close to the basket. Just a great athlete with excellent quickness. He's seeing the floor well. I think he's starting to learn a lot from getting those minutes as a starter here in this lineup. And we've seen the ability to hit the three from outside, and that's continued. But he's added another dimension with his play, just with the ability to slice past defenders with that speed to get to the rim. And, like Shane Brown's teams these past few years, he plays some tough defense. And that was a big win for Hilton Head. I came into that game thinking, okay, this is going to be up for grabs. You got Jalen Linder, you got Brandon Bryant for Bluffton. And this Bobcat squad, they're going to be hungry after that loss against Lucy Beckham last week. But Hilton Head really, they established their dominance early in that game. Got some good minutes from not just Reese Stewart, but Kyrie Spillman, Ja'Cory Walters. What a force he's been rebounding the ball, playing tough D as well. And Kyrie Spillman, another guy who we haven't talked about at all this year, who's been a really nice standout. So Shane Brown's kind of making the most of what he's got, and very quietly, this Hilton Head team is sitting pretty at 2-0 in the region.
Yeah, I don't think that's a homer pick at all. I think Reese Stewart had a really good game. Like you said, he wasn't scared to take it inside and go against some of the the taller kids, the 6'5" and up kids. I think I seen a play on video where he took it right to him and scored the basketball. So I think that's a really strong pick.
I mean, I'm not going to deny that Wes is a homer. No, I'm just kidding. At the end of the day, look, the Seahawks are, after I saw them a little earlier in the year and, split with BA and then lose to Christian, I wouldn't have thought they would have been 2-0 in the region. So you got to give Coach Brown credit. You got to give what is sort of like a rejuvenated culture since he's taken over there, right? They've got more football kids playing. They've got more kids that are just training down there in and around the island. And I think it's a good thing, and it's a good thing for basketball in the area. So yeah, I have absolutely no problem with that. The Seahawks are, they're doing their thing. They had a nice live gym the other night, so nothing but love. And I think moving forward, they're going to do a little damage in the region. I mean, I'm not expecting to go the distance, but you know what I'm saying? Let's take it one game at a time, but they look good.
Just take care of who's in front of you and move on from there. But
you can only play who you play.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
I think they're on the track for at least top half finish of the region if they continue this strong intensity that we've seen from Shane Brown, who's done some amazing things already in such a short time. 4th year, I believe, as the head coach of Hilton Head High. So good things over there on the island. And before we wrap this up, let's look ahead to what's on tap this coming week, including some big region games on Friday. Those same Seahawks hosting Lucy Beckham. That boys game should be fantastic.
That's going to be a good one.
That'll be nice.
Lucy Beckham off to a strong start, so that could be a key implications there for region seeding going forward. Girls game should be pretty solid as well against Lindy Young and those Seahawks. Colleton will be at May River, James Island at Bluffton. Those are all 7 4A games on Friday.
I think this game is an important game for Bluffton. I think they have to win this James Island game if they want to be in serious contention for the region. I think they're going to have to bring their A game and beat James Island.
Well, Branch Estill, another big game on Friday night. That's a local rivalry. 2 teams at the top of that region, so it should be a battle over there, over in Estill, Hampton County on Friday night. Wish I could make it to that one, but hopefully we'll have someone over there or setting up some coverage because that's going to be a really fun clash. Then Saturday, a Lowco on Lowco matchup between Wade Hampton and Whale Branch. What it started to been, so Whale Branch playing on back-to-back nights, and Wade Hampton. It's been a heck of a start so far for the Red Devils. Last year, of course, for both Wade Hampton and Estill before they become one with the Hampton County Hurricane. We talked about the football implications of that, but how about the basketball implications? Because both those teams have some standouts, and they're going to be combined to join to form a heck of a team over there in these coming years.
That's going to be a brutal team to go against. I wouldn't mind HHCA playing them next year. I think that'd be a good one, but they're going to be tough. I mean, Wade Hampton's good this year. They're going to be tough next year when they combine.
Some good girls games on Tuesday.
Yeah,
I mean, interesting anyway. Like you got the First Baptist Hilton Head Prep thing. Prep's obviously down, but they've got Courtney, who is a juggernaut in her own regard and is putting up massive numbers. I think per minute played, last I checked about 10 days ago, she was leading the state in points per game per minute played. So, and then HHCA Northwood, that's traditionally, Northwood's now 4A in Skeeza. HHCA is 3A, but I would assume, let me duck back. I said Courtney's a juggernaut at prep. She is. But First Baptist also has a Lowco women's basketball point guard for our 14U, Gabriella Moore, who is legitimately a dynamo. So I expect First Baptist to get over there because of not only Gabby, but also Yana Seabury, who has got D1 offers to Charleston Southern, I think College of Charleston, things like that, elite shooter. So probably overmatch prep. HHCA Northwood's good. There's 2 sisters on Northwood that are elite kids, the Birch sisters, Aaliyah and Malia, and both of them are, I think 3 years apart in age, but both, nationally viable talents with D1 offers, that sort of thing. So that should be an interesting matchup, although I expect HHCA to sort of run with it.
I mean, I'll be at the HHCA Federica game, but I would love Friday night to be able to watch Patrick Henry BA. I mean, I think Patrick Henry's really turned it around. I mean, they upset Andrew Jackson, and they beat him pretty handily, and BA's really good. I think that's going to be a really good matchup to watch.
Yeah, Patrick Henry BA will be a good girls game. I mean,
I think it'll be a good boys game too, honestly.
Yeah, I think it will be. Like, both of them. Patrick Henry is disciplined on both the boys and the girls side. They try to get the best shot they can, and they move the ball accordingly. They seem to know what you're in and then move it to the spaces that they need to get it to in order to break you down, right? So that's good coaching. And I think that actually hurt them versus Christian on the girls' side, because they're trying to make the extra pass and there's just too much athleticism. But with BA, that's also possible. BA's a 3-man team right now, right? Like, they've got Michaela on the girls' side, they've got Talia, and they have Kamira Freeman. So they mostly just pass it amongst themselves, but it's that same kind of speed that gives Patrick Henry a little bit of issues. So I expect to see BA come on top, but that could be a heck of a game.
Yeah, I think on this BA team. They are rolling over there in Class 2A, and I think it sets up well for them to make a run in the postseason. So we could see a lot of Skiza teams go deep in February, and a couple bring home some hardware. So I'm really excited for the rest of the season. Should be another fantastic week of high school basketball. That'll do it for this week's episode of the Lowco Hoops Report. For Rob Benson, Will White, I'm Wes Kerr. Until next time, go Lowco.